You are now in the presence of a...
Good morning. Happy Monday from the lake. When my hand gets numb enough and I get tired, I'm not that tired, but when I get tired of my hand being numb, I will lay down on the board. And the noises are probably annoying because they never sound good on the video, so apologies for that. But my backpack that has, what's in here? Well, my phone, which is in a waterproof floating case, is in my hand, but that goes in there when I'm paddling usually. And there's a towel in there, which might be getting a little wet, but that's okay. There's a pair of shorts. There's some flip-flops. There's a bottle of water, which normally this is a Camelback, and normally it would have a reservoir of water with a, with a straw thingy that you can drink out of while you're paddling, which is much preferable, but the one I have kept leaking, so I'm using a bottle of water. And there's chapstick, and usually there's a little bottle of bug spray. I like the natural off stuff. It works pretty well. And there's a lot of there's times when there's a lot of biting flies out on the lake, so luckily they're not that bad right now. They're just a little bit annoying, but you'll go through swarms of them when the weather conditions are right. And so that helps. And then what else is in here? Oh, my keys in a baggie. It's morning. It's probably close to 8 a.m. right now. I was going to try to make it for the sunrise, and I decided to prioritize sleep because I need that to want to get out on the road, and there's no time to sleep. But let's see, the skyline is right there. You can't really see it because it's hazy from those wildfires up in Canada, so that kind of sucks. But it's beautiful out, and this is one of my favorite parts when my back gets a little bit tired, my upper back from paddling, and my hand gets numb. I like to take a little siesta. I'm just taking a little break here, and then I'm gonna head back to shore and continue with it's a Monday, but it feels like a Sunday because I got home a day late this weekend and kind of threw things off, but at least I got some downtime and I'm getting to enjoy the lake, which is always cool. Good morning from Wisconsin. Okay, so I'm just coming back from home time, and I'm doing my pre-trip inspection, and I wanted to talk a little bit about how important it is to not skimp on your pre-trips. And I already was aware that I had a flat last night, but I brought my truck the 10 miles or so down the road anyway, which you can kind of get away with because it's on one of the tandems. It's actually this guy here. But since I drove, and I don't know if maybe since I sat overnight, the other one on that set is also sounding different. So I just wanted for anybody who is new or a prospective driver, just something to show you and to explain why you don't want to skimp on your pre-trips. I have this thing when I come back from home time. It's like the devil on my shoulder, maybe I'll skip the pre-trip this time. It's just 10 minutes. And then every time it's like I automatically go into, nope, you're doing your pre-trip. It takes 10 minutes to walk around the truck and just check, open the hood, take a look underneath the hood, walk around, take a look at the tires, get underneath the trailer, take a look at the brakes, all of these things. It's necessary. It's part of being a responsible and safe driver, but it's also for your own peace of mind. And the reality is, if you don't check things and know what's maybe going wrong, then it is going to bite you in the ass down the road when something inevitably does go wrong. And it's better to catch things early so you can plan. This trailer is probably going to be going on a long drive with me. I'm taking this, getting it loaded in Wisconsin, going down to Missouri, and I'm guessing from there they're probably heading me out west. I hope they are. I want to go out back to Idaho again. But anyway, so always use a flashlight. This is a rechargeable Energizer flashlight that I got at a Menards store, and I really like it. And one thing I like is this is the brightest setting. This is the second setting. Then it also has flashing for emergencies. But I usually just use the lower setting because it drains it less quickly. The really bright setting is good for use during the day, and that's something I want to emphasize if you're new to this or whatever. Use your flashlight even during the day, because when you're looking under the hood or if you're checking your coupling, it's dark in those areas. Even during the day, you won't necessarily be able to see, and the brighter light is better when there's daylight, when there's ambient light. So check this out. This is how you can immediately tell the difference in the sound with this tire thumper, not a regular hammer. And I see people kicking the tires with their boots, and that is not the right way to do it. It's not going to produce the sound. It's not going to, maybe if you're experienced enough, you can actually feel the difference. But if you're a new driver, don't be doing that. Also, I almost never see hoods open in truck stops, and I think it's easy if you're a new driver to feel nervous that, oh, people are going to see me doing my pre-trip and they're going to be examining me. No one cares. Nobody's looking at what you're doing specifically. If people see that you're doing a pre-trip, they're going to be like, oh, that driver's responsible. Or maybe, oh, that's a newer driver, because a lot of these other experienced drivers aren't even opening the hood. And why not? Because that's a simple, quick way to see if you have a leak or something. Like, it's... And also, one more thing, sorry, I'm not trying to give a whole lecture here, but something my dad said early on, I remember I was telling him how, like, I'm nervous about doing my pre-trips because, like, I mean, I'm not going to not do them, but, like, I don't remember what all the parts are and stuff. And he was like, you don't have to worry about that. It's not about, like, being able to name all the parts. It's that every time you look at your truck every day, and then everything looks a certain way, and you recognize when something doesn't look right. And that's exactly right. So these are self-inflating tires, so I can't even check the pressure on them, but I can do this. That's how it's supposed to sound. Give it a good hard thump, not on the sidewall, on the whatever this is called. Now this is what it sounds like when there's like no air in the tire. This one still has some air, but it doesn't sound the same as that. That's got a nice, like, it's a certain pitch, and they should all sound pretty much the same. And when it sounds like this, that's a dud right there, and that's how you know it. So I knew this last night because I didn't listen to the little devil on my shoulder. I did my pre-trip, and I was like, oh man. And then I was able to plan. I contacted my dispatcher. I told her, hey, there's this Petro down the road. I gotta head there first thing and get this tire replaced. So you know what? That's trucking. That's what we say. It's always something, but this is a minor something. And guess what? I'm much happier to get it taken care of first thing before I hit the road and be a little delayed, rather than be halfway to Missouri and be pulled over on the side of the road waiting for roadside assistance. You don't want to be doing that. So do your pre-trips. Oh yeah, I also, you will never, ever normally see me wearing socks and sandals, or sandals in a truck stop, because that's gross. And the only reason I'm doing it is that I left my boots down the road in my car too. That's the only time I'll ever drive my truck not wearing like actual appropriate footwear, is when I'm coming this 10 minutes down the road after my home time. And I'm wearing socks and sandals because sandals in truck stops are unsanitary, disgusting, and technically not very safe in my humble opinion. So these socks are going straight in the laundry, and I can't wait till I have my boots back in my truck a little later this morning. All right, well, this is turning into a pretty time-consuming venture, and I got here a little bit before they opened. That's the sound of them doing something with some lug nuts, so that's a good sign. Turns out this trailer has 3 tires that need to be replaced, the 2 that were the one flat. And I don't understand exactly how the tandem tires work, but I think that when you might replace one but not the other. I think that's correct. But in this case, they have to replace both of them. And the one that was flat, it was from a previous repair. So, you know, tires get repaired. The repair only lasts for so many miles, and then it breaks down. This is just one of those unfortunate realities of trucking, that this is where you have time that you're on the clock and you're kind of captive, and there's nothing you can do, and you can't make money during this time because mileage pay, unless you're one of those drivers who's smarter than me and has an hourly pay job. Sorry about this persistent ray of light. It's shining down upon me. Should I take that as a good omen? Maybe I should. Anyway, so they're replacing those 2. I think those are the 2 that he was saying they were replacing, and they're replacing another one. And I had noticed the uneven wear. I put that, sorry, I'm really trying to like get rid of that. How do I do that? I don't know. It's like, no, here I am. Hold on a second. Let me try to move this over here. Right here. There we go. That's a little better. So, I'm about to do a little bit of exercise, which I should have probably started doing sooner. I always do that, but I'm a master of killing time, man. I always find stuff to do. I cleaned the inside of my truck, and it really needed it. So, you know, I try not to get too down about these downtimes, because they are always going to happen at some point, and it's better to have the security of knowing that I'm driving a trailer with good tires on it. I hadn't noticed this. I think I might have noticed there was some wear, but I don't think I noticed how bad it was when I pre-tripped the trailer before on Saturday, which was the day I went home. I went home Saturday late afternoon by the time I got there. But when I picked up that trailer, I wouldn't say I was in like a huge hurry. I was actually kind of taking my time. I sort of like got my truck packed up while I was still at the customer, because it's a better place to get that done than where I park my truck. I really don't like that lot. It's limestone and it's so bright, the way the sun reflects off of it, that it makes your truck get hot immediately. And every time I get back to my truck, the inside of the truck is so hot and gross, and it's because the APU only stays on for a little while. So that's kind of icky. And you can't leave the windows cracked or anything, because your truck would be full of dust. Like, it's gnarly. There was a tire that was more damaged, that was kind of, the damaged part was a little tough to see unless you pull up the mud flap. So I should have looked at that a little bit more closely, or like if I get under the trailer properly or whatever, I should have seen it. I don't know. I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't notice the extent of the wear on that tire, but it just is, all of these things are little learning moments where you say, okay, I need to pay closer attention to this, because I think you get a little, I don't want to say complacent, but maybe a little complacent when you get used to seeing tire damage and you drive with a certain amount of tire damage. It's a normal thing that occurs, but you have to know how to discern when it's too much. The fact that the trailer was like that indicates that the driver before me may have noticed it and decided they didn't want to sit their ass in the shop all day. That's one of the crappy things that happens. It's like, you know, none of us wants to lose our time and lose our income to these types of issues, but unfortunately it's a thing that you have to do. And when you're a responsible driver and you don't want to screw over the person after you, you take care of stuff. So hopefully I'll get out of here fairly soon. I am going to be late to the pickup. I already called and let them know. These are things that can't be helped. It's not anything I could have controlled. I got here as early as I possibly could, so I did my best. Later, I'm finally heading out of here. I could have been out of here probably 10 minutes earlier, but I stopped to put on some sunscreen. I really love this Hawaiian Tropic sunscreen. I think it's a newer one, this Sheer Touch. It doesn't feel greasy and it smells like Hawaiian Tropic oil that I used to use back before I worried about wrinkles. And I'm at this Petro in Racine, and they have this awesome little Dutch bakery, and this is how I ruined the exercise I just did. No, it's not ruining it. It's a quarter of a donut, okay? And you need to live a little. And it's their donut of the month, and it is a lemon tart and sweet lemon custard filled donut. It's so good. And I got a coffee, and I'm so happy I'm gonna be driving for the next couple of hours because I've been sitting for too long. But it was a nice little period of time that I used as wisely as I could. Oh, I just want to tell you guys, in addition to replacing 3 tires, I believe, they also had to replace a whip, which is the thing that the little hose that is attached to the tire that's for the self-inflating mechanism, and then they had to replace a hubcap. So all this stuff is done. This trailer is road safe. We took a bunch of time and it kind of sucks, but sometimes that's what you got to do, because that is trucking. I will see you soon. All right, we made it. We made it to this pickup. They don't close until 4. It's 1:42 already, which is crazy, but that's what happens. I got delayed. So everything will be okay though, you know. I want to show you guys something real quick. Oh, I was gonna say before that, though, the people who work here are really cool, and that's always nice when you show up and you tell them, yeah, I was supposed to be here a lot earlier, but a situation was going on with this trailer that you don't want to have. You know, you don't want your freight being driven in the trailer with mess messed up tires. So they appreciate that you took care of these things, even if it made you late. At least a lot of places do. This is a smaller place in Wisconsin. The people are, one of the reasons I love running in Wisconsin is a lot of the people there are really cool and easy to deal with. Anywho, I just got a few of these on Amazon. I'll throw a link in the comments, but they're sun sleeves to protect tattoos or just to protect your shoulders. Like, they're great, and they're SPF 50 fabric, but they're very thin and pretty lightweight, and they cover almost everything except for these finger tattoos and this guy. I really hope doesn't get damaged by the sun too much. I always put on sunscreen like every 1.5 to 2 hours, SPF 50. But just something I would recommend if you're a person who has tattoos that you really love, that you've invested in, that you don't want to be damaged. Your first line of defense is not just sunscreen. That doesn't do the job. You need fabric that has SPF. It's like the fabric itself is made to protect against the sun. That's what you need. And you can buy a rash guard. I have rash guards, but I don't like wearing them because it's like a full long sleeve shirt. So this is kind of a nice happy medium. It's still like enough to, you know, not be too hot, but it completely covers my shoulders and my arms. So, and they're really stretchy, and they have the thumb holes and all that good stuff. So anyway, just something in case anybody out there is